why this program matters now is we're facing pretty much anywhere you look, not just in business, but throughout our society, a crisis of leadership, right? And people seem to have devolved into thinking that the loudest voice or shouting at each other is leadership, and it's not. It's got nothing to do with it. And so we're kind of flailing around here trying to figure out how do we move forward. And the dilemma we've got in business now is that we're still trying to struggle with contemporary problems, a contemporary workforce with industrial era thinking and management practices. And the problem is that those practices were invented by guys who were born in the 1800s, for heaven's sakes. They were designed to be effective for Henry Ford and his peers as we ushered in the industrial mass production era. Right now, it's 100 years later. Those days are gone, but that same thinking, those same practices, they stick around with us. They're like some nasty family heirloom that gets handed down from generation to generation, and it's this seemingly intractable loop because you come to work for a company, right? And what you get taught is those same old practices because that's what the guy who had the job before you did. So he teaches you the same thing. You teach the guy behind you the same thing, all right? And we're still, again, stuck in this loop. Now, even in business schools, they're still teaching the same thing. Now we've added technology to it, but it's the same basic stuff that they taught 75 years ago. It's a completely different world. And one of the reasons that the work is so frustrating these days is you've got a workforce that's educated, agile, mobile, and we're still treating them like the old early industrial factory workers, where management is supervision and what we're all about is control and avoiding, upsets. And that's how you kill creativity, and people don't want to work in that kind of environment. So yeah, you get a lot of bad moods and resentment and distrust. Not the key to a successful future. One of our dilemmas is when we go into an organization, they're typically thrilled if they can get a 3 or 4% bump in productivity. And to us, that's not even worth going out the door for. We're talking about 15, 20, 25%, but people don't believe it. When I show them all the evidence and the documentation, they still don't believe it. What do you think, I'm making this stuff up? This is what happens when you have a system that actually works, when you understand how you actually coordinate, communicate, mobilize people to get stuff done. And that's not what's being taught anywhere. That's not what's in place in any organizations. And so what we've got today, there's a dearth of leadership at the top of the corporate world. We've got a bunch of caretakers or guys who used to be in finance, and those are not the guys that you want running a company.